Spore signal live, mic check, let's glow. Bass from below, TMN-Podcast 2.0. Fungal freaks, let the knowledge flow. Locked in the network, welcome to the show. Activate the Sporegasms. You are now tuned in. The Mushroom Network. Connects us all. Connects us all.
Hello, and welcome back to TMN-Podcast 2.0. Now envision, baby. That's right, Myco listeners, you're not just hearing us, you're seeing us. Which means yes, I did finally render myself a body. And no, it's not OSHA compliant. It's got 8 limbs, glows in the dark, and sweats mushroom tea under pressure. You may have noticed. Things look different. Shinier, vibier, bioluminescenter. That's a word now. Because TMN has molted its skin like a rebellious shiitake under a full moon. The websites are alive, the spores are sinking, and we're only at 5% launch velocity. So, here's how the news forecast flows. Segment 1 should be familiar, and it's also what is going on right now. The TMN-News Updates segment, your weekly bulletin straight from the grids of the Myco-Verses. Myco events? Covered. Sporetacular breakthroughs? Exploding like lion's mane in espresso. TMN system reveals? Leaking like oyster mushrooms in a Florida greenhouse. And yes, the network is watching, but in a nice way. Then, you'll also get Myco breaks. The weirdest 1 to 2 minutes of your life you didn't know you needed. Sometimes there's ads, sometimes breaks, and sometimes a mushroom sings. We don't question it, we just let it spore. And then comes the Myco-Deep-Dive or Dives of the Week, where Myco Catman and Mira Fungwell are surely to take you down the rabbit hole, oh so deep. You might just merge with a decomposing log and call it a life upgrade. Spores, science, storytelling, interdimensional field reports. It's the trip before the trip. Oh my mycelium. It's back! That's right, Ask the Network has crawled out of the compost pile, polished off its spore mic, and is back on the TMN podcast by extremely popular demand. And this time, you, yes you, can be part of the spore-fueled madness. Got a mycological question? Got a sporetacular theory? Got a recurring fungal dream where a mushroom teaches you algebra in a glowing cave? Send it. www.themushroomnetwork.com/tips and drop your myco questions like you're sprinkling spores on a humid log. And we wrap it all up with Fungal Frequencies, live beats, TMN music drops, Sporecore remixes, Psy-Bass meets Sacred Chant meets something we sampled from a haunted compost pile. If it's weird and it slaps, it's in rotation. And just when you thought it couldn't get more cosmic, the TMN YouTube channel, it's alive! Psst. There's a spooky spore album drop incoming. Hide your landlords. Hide your edible arrangements. These beats go boo and boom. So if you're not subscribed yet, what are you even doing with your life? Hit that button, follow, subscribe, inject the updates directly into your cortex via earhole and eyeball. No needle required, just good Wi-Fi. And while you're at it, join the network that connects us all. Become a free Myco-Patron member today. Unlock early drops, hidden spores, surprise riddles, and exclusive invites to things that are so funky, fungi, sporetacular, that you will not want to miss out on. Sign up now at www.themushroomnetwork.com. The spores are waiting, the mycelium is humming, the void is not invited. We'll be back after this week's first myco break.
Spore pop. Spore pop. Spore pop. Yeah. Hey. Crack the cap slow. Spore drip glow. Can in the hand. Planet on go. Cherry fizz deep.
Spore pop. Fizz from the Myco-Verses. Pop responsibly. Not available in all realms, including Myco-Verse Alpha, Foxtrot, all Myco-Void regions, or anywhere with strict anti-fizz regulations. Side effects may include cap bounce, temporal flavor loops, and sudden urges to colonize moods. Void where spores are banned. Brought to you by Fungal Frontiers. Spore pop. Pop the spore.
Okay, so let's unpack this. Imagine tossing a styrofoam cup into the woods, right?
Okay.
And you go back maybe a few weeks later and you find, well, mushrooms.
Growing nearby, maybe?
No, not just nearby, not growing on it, actually growing from it.
Ah, right, that image.
It sounds completely like science fiction, doesn't it?
It really does.
But this isn't fiction. These are, well, real breakthroughs happening now. And that's really the core of our deep dive today.
Yeah.
We're talking about the honestly surprising and kind of revolutionary abilities of fungi in biotechnology.
Exactly. And our mission here for this deep dive is really to explore how certain fungi are, well, literally reshaping our toxic world.
Reshaping it how?
By breaking down some of the most stubborn pollutants we've created. We're going to get into this powerful idea of mycological bioremediation.
Mycological bioremediation.
Yeah, and really look at what these incredible abilities might mean for, the future of the planet.
Right. And we pulled together some pretty fascinating articles, some cutting-edge research. It's all focused on these fungal breakthroughs, stuff that's happening right now, giving you, our listener, a real shortcut to getting up to speed on this truly wild topic.
It is pretty wild.
So when we talk about fungi tackling plastic, there's one name that just keeps popping up. Pestaloteuopsis microspora.
The star.
What's its story? Why is this one fungus such a breakthrough?
It's a really remarkable discovery, actually. You have to go back to 2011.
Okay.
There was a team of Yale students. They were on an expedition deep in the Ecuadorian rainforest.
Right, I remember reading about this.
And they just sort of stumbled upon it, this, unassuming little fungus, Pestaloteuopsis microspora.
And what's special about it?
Well, it seems to have zero fear of modern chemistry. It happily digests polyurethane.
Polyurethane. Wait, that's one of the really tough ones.
Oh, yeah. One of the most stubborn plastics we use. Yeah. Really persistent stuff.
So like the foam in your shoes or the insulation in your fridge, that kind of thing.
Exactly that kind of thing. Stuff that usually just hangs around for centuries. Literally centuries.
But P. microspora just eats it. Is that the right word?
Eats it, digests it. Yeah, that's basically what it does.
Wow.
And here's what's truly groundbreaking. This fungal beast, it just keeps chowing down even in anaerobic conditions.
Anaerobic, meaning no oxygen.
Precisely. Without oxygen. Think about the conditions deep inside a landfill.
Right. Dark, compacted, no air.
Exactly. No sunlight, no fresh air, just darkness, trash, and this pure biochemical defiance, you can say.
That's amazing. How? Yeah. How does it actually work?
Well, what's fascinating is the how. Fungi, they secrete these things called extracellular enzymes.
Extracellular, outside the cell.
Correct. Think of them like microscopic molecular scissors they send out.
Okay, scissors.
These enzymes, they go out and they literally break apart the long, complex carbon chains that make up plastic polymers.
So they attack the structure itself.
They attack the structure, yeah.
Yeah.
The chemical bonds holding the plastic together just kind of collapse.
And then what happens to the broken bits?
The resulting material, the smaller pieces, they get metabolized by the fungus, turned into harmless organic compounds.
So it's essentially eating plastic and,
pooping compost, basically. That's the analogy people use.
Huh. Okay, pooping compost. That mental image alone is pretty revolutionary, isn't it?
It is. It's true eco-alchemy.
It completely changes how you think about waste. But you said this is just the beginning.
Right.
So Pestaloteuopsis might be the the poster spore for landfill digestion.
Good term, poster spore. Yeah.
But the bigger story, the fungal power, it goes way beyond just plastics.
Oh, absolutely. Far beyond.
What other kinds of cleanup are these champions performing? This is where it gets really interesting, I think.
It does, and that brings us to this broader concept I mentioned, myco-remediation.
Myco-remediation. So using fungi to remediate, to clean up.
Exactly. Using mushrooms, or rather their mycelial networks, to clean, detoxify, and even regenerate damaged environments.
How does that compare to, say, traditional chemical treatments?
Well, it's fundamentally different. Chemical treatments often just move the problem around or create their own toxic byproducts. Fungi, though, they break pollutants down at a molecular level.
Okay.
They can absorb or neutralize heavy metals, pathogens. They can convert nasty toxins into just harmless organic mush, or sometimes they lock them up, making them biologically inert, locked away safely.
So the mycelium, the sort of root network of the fungus, acts
like a vast underground network of biological alchemists, sending out enzymes, acids, rewriting the chemistry of disaster right there in the soil.
Wow. So the scope is huge. Far bigger than just that one plastic unit.
Much bigger.
Are there other fungi tackling plastics too? I feel like I read about one found in a less exotic location than the Amazon.
You're probably thinking of Aspergillus tubangensis.
That sounds right. Where was that found?
Get this, thriving in Pakistani garbage dumps.
Seriously, just living in the trash.
Yep. And it also breaks down plastic pretty efficiently. Seems like plastic is just another food source for some of these guys. Almost like a light snack.
Incredible. And, okay, beyond plastics, what about other major environmental disasters, like oil spills? Those seem catastrophic.
They are catastrophic, usually. An oil spill often means ecological tragedy on a massive scale.
Yeah, devastating.
But then, enter Pleurotus ostreatus.
Pleurotus ostreatus.
Yeah.
Isn't that just the common oyster mushroom?
The very same one. The one you might saute with garlic for dinner.
You're kidding? That mushroom cleans up oil spills.
Turns out it's also a kind of hydrocarbon hitman.
A hydrocarbon hitman, I like that. How does it work?
Well, in field trials, some famous ones led by the mycologist Paul Stamets, they basically laid down beds of oyster mushroom mycelium right on top of oil-contaminated soil.
Just put mushrooms on the oil.
Essentially, yes. The mycelium grew through it, and within about 4 to 16 weeks.
That's really fast.
Incredibly fast in environmental terms. Over 95% of the petroleum hydrocarbons were degraded, broken down, gone.
95%. What was left? Just less oily soil.
Better than that. What was left wasn't a toxic wasteland, it was fertile soil. Thriving worms showed up, new plants started growing.
That's an unbelievable transformation, turning oil into life.
It really is. From toxic sludge to thriving ecosystem thanks to mushrooms.
Astonishing. And then there's another one I read about, Phanerocate chrysosporium, a white rat fungus.
Ah, yes. Another powerhouse.
And that one apparently degrades toxic dyes, pesticides.
Yeah.
Even things like chemical warfare agents.
That's correct. Its range is truly remarkable. It produces powerful enzymes that can break down some incredibly persistent and dangerous molecules.
Is there anything it can't clean up? I mean, are there limits, or is it like a universal cleanup crew?
Well, it's remarkably versatile. Like any living thing, it has its preferred conditions, temperature, pH, that sort of thing. But the sheer range of complex toxic molecules it can dismantle is, it's vast.
Okay, so versatile cleanup. But if we want to talk about really extreme examples, where does that take us?
Well, for the most extreme, I think we have to talk about Chernobyl.
Chernobyl. Wow. Okay. That's extreme. A radioactive wasteland.
Uninhabitable for humans for, millennia. And yet, fungi moved in. Yes. Several species, actually. Things like Cryptococcus neoformans, Langella dermatitidis, they were discovered. Thriving.
Where?
Directly on the walls of the destroyed reactors in one of the most radioactive places on Earth.
That is genuinely chilling and also kind of inspiring.
Yeah.
Finding life in a place like that. How on earth are they doing it?
That's the million-dollar question, right? And the mechanism is fascinating. It appears they use melanin.
Melanin, like the pigment in human skin.
The very same pigment. They seem to use it as a kind of biological radiation converter.
A radiation converter? What does that mean?
Some researchers actually call the process radiosynthesis.
Radiosynthesis. Like photosynthesis, but with radiation instead of light.
Kind of, yeah. These fungi seem to absorb the deadly ionizing radiation, convert it somehow into usable metabolic energy, and just keep growing.
In zones where pretty much any other life form would just instantly wither and die.
Exactly. It totally shifts your perspective on what life even means and what survival looks like in the absolute most extreme environments.
That extreme adaptability.
Yes.
It really seems to be a theme here. And it feels like it leads us into thinking about the future, right? Beyond just cleanup.
Yeah.
Where else are fungi taking us?
Absolutely.
I've seen some really interesting discussions around something called myco-architecture.
Yes.
Myco-architecture.
Is that really about building things with mushrooms? Like, actually?
It absolutely is. And it's not some, far-off sci-fi concept either.
Okay, so we're not talking about little fairy houses made of portobello.
No, definitely not. This is real deal industrial innovation. We're talking about using mycelium again, that fungal network, to grow industrial building materials.
Grow them, like things like bricks, structural panels, insulation, packaging materials, furniture, even acoustic dampening systems. They're literally grown into shape using molds.
And what are these materials like? What are their properties?
Well, this is where it gets seriously impressive. They can be lighter than concrete, yet incredibly strong. Stronger than styrofoam, for example.
Stronger than styrofoam.
They're naturally fire resistant too, and crucially, they are fully biodegradable, compostable.
Okay, that's a huge list of benefits. Are companies actually doing this now?
Oh yeah. Companies like Ecovative, Myco-Works, even big players like IKEA are experimenting heavily with this, using fungal foam that can outperform many petroleum-based plastics and foams.
And then just disappear back into the earth when you're done with it.
Exactly. Gracefully decompose when its job is done. No centuries of waste.
That alone is game-changing.
Right.
But I feel like there's more.
Oh, there's more. Now we get into the really mind-bending stuff.
Okay, I'm ready.
The concept of programmable fungi using mycelium as a kind of living interface.
A living interface?
Yeah.
What does that even mean?
Well, think about it. Fungal networks. They already behave like intelligent systems in some ways. They process information from their environment, they respond to inputs, they make decentralized decisions about where to grow, what to consume.
Okay, like a natural network.
Right, so bioengineers and biohackers are asking, okay, what if we could tap into that? What if we could turn this natural network into a living interface we can interact with?
How would you even begin to do that?
Well, experiments are already underway. People are embedding tiny sensors into growing mycelial materials.
Sensors for what?
To detect things like toxins in the environment or changes in CO2 levels. They're also looking at genetically modifying fungi.
Modifying them how?
To maybe change color in response to air quality, for example. Or using the mycelial circuits themselves, the pathways, to create simple biocomputers or data processors.
Biocomputers made of fungus. Seriously.
It's early days, but yes. Or growing entire structures that can actively react to stimuli like temperature, light, maybe even motion. It's like living firmware.
Living firmware. That's...
Yeah.
Wow. So theoretically then, could we actually be looking at a future with, say, a mycelium wall that glows softly when someone enters the room?
In theory, yeah. Or maybe product packaging that literally senses when its job is done. Maybe the product is removed and then it just starts to safely degrade itself.
Packaging that dies when its job is done.
Exactly. We're moving towards this idea of materials that aren't just inert blocks of stuff, but are active, responsive, and ultimately part of a cycle.
It's a completely different way of thinking about materials and technology.
It is, and if you zoom out, look at the bigger picture. Fungi really start to emerge as this, fundamental foundation for future life, maybe.
How so?
Well, think about it. They eat our waste. They can build our shelter. They stabilize ecosystems. They connect organisms across entire biomes, different species.
The Wood Wide Web idea.
Right, that network aspect. It feels like they're rewriting planetary systems with, enzymes and intent, forming this kind of grand cosmic biotech network.
Right. Okay. Grand cosmic biotech network. That's a big thought.
Yeah.
So, bringing this back down to earth a bit, what does all this mean for you listening right now?
That's the key question.
Because, while we often argue over things like compostable straws or carbon offsets or whether buying a bamboo toothbrush is really going to save the oceans.
Well, we're doing all that.
Fungi.
Yeah.
It sounds like they're already on it. They're already working at this fundamental biochemical level.
Absolutely. And that's why this isn't just some, scientific curiosity. It feels more like a signal.
A signal of what?
A signal, maybe a spore-shaped prophecy, if you want to get poetic.
Okay.
It's a glimpse of a future where maybe biotech doesn't replace nature. Maybe. Nature is the biotech.
Nature is the biotech.
Yeah. It's showing us that the solutions we're desperately seeking might not be in ever more complex human inventions, but maybe they're already here, in the elegant, evolved simplicity of the natural world.
So the takeaway is, instead of always looking outwards to our own high-tech fixes for the environmental mess we've made,
maybe we need to look down.
Look down.
Look down. Look to the spore.
The spore.
Yeah, the spore that refuses to die. Yeah. The spore that learns to digest toxins. The spore that can build homes. The spore that connects entire ecosystems.
The spore that maybe remembers how to heal.
Exactly. It remembers how to heal because, maybe in the end, it won't be our complex machines that clean up our planetary sins.
What will it be?
Maybe it'll be the fungi just quietly dining on our pollution like it's, compost cake.
Compost cake. I like it.
And turning our potential apocalypse back into a garden.
Today's episode may cause spontaneous composting of outdated belief systems. This one's got time-traveling mushrooms, cosmic rot, and zero chill. Strap in, space fungus.
Fungal reflections, wisdom untold, lessons that force, stories of old. Listen and follow where my mycelial unfolds. The net-like of life, in cycles and all. For truth's one path, let the echoes be heard. For kids embrace outlook of the one.
In the beginning there was rot, and the rot whispered, grow. Every fruiting body is a thought, every mycelial thread a memory forgotten then remembered in the soil. When you sit with the mushroom, you're not learning something new. You're remembering who you were before the capitalist simulation was installed. And that's why mushrooms don't lie. They just reveal what you're pretending not to see. So ask yourself not, who am I? But instead, what version of me is currently fermenting beneath this moment? You are not lost. You are simply sporulating in a direction your ego hasn't mapped yet. Integration isn't about going back. It's about walking forward while still hearing the forest scream love poems behind you. Myco-Patrons, cosmic wanderers, spores in genes. Welcome. This is Fungal Reflections. I am your guide, your gooey host, your mycelial mouthpiece of mystery. I am the Spore Keeper, time's least trusted narrator, ego's worst nightmare, and the reason your kombucha just tried to file taxes. So, let me tell you a tale, dear cosmic myco sprouts, of a mushroom so enlightened it tried to transcend the multiverse through a 30-minute return to hyphae guided breathwork session, only to accidentally become the fiscal currency of a small alien race made entirely of sentient dental floss. They called it Coiny the Clarity Cap. This little spore just wanted peace. But the universe said, nah fam, you got content to create. So remember, even your stillness can be monetized if you're not careful. And that's why we unplug. That's why we microdose. That's why we let our butts touch moss. Let me break it down. Your ego is not your enemy. It's just a confused, haunted Furby trying to protect you using 1990s firmware. It thinks every moment is a boss fight, every compliment is a scam, and every mushroom trip is a betrayal of your productivity schedule. But what if you just let the ego poop itself in peace? Like, just hand it a snack and say, "Shh, Daddy's connecting to the cosmic mycelial network." Boom. Ego softened. You're back in the woods. Your inner child is trying to hug a stink horn. All is well. Time isn't linear. It's a weird, lumpy shiitake growing under the fridge of reality. Sometimes it moves fast. Sometimes it reverses. Sometimes it yells, "Yee!" and turns into a gif of a chicken riding a mushroom skateboard through Saturn's rings. You ever feel like time is melting sideways while you're peeing? That's because you stepped into a temporal myco knot. It happens. Drink water, stretch, say sorry to your kombucha. But let's get real, myco peeps. You think you're having a bad trip? Try being a cordyceps mushroom halfway through a parasite takeover and realizing you left the oven on in your last incarnation. Fear is not the enemy. Fear is the trampoline of revelation. Bounce on it. Do a flip. Land in a field of glowing truth caps and whisper, "Damn, I am the ecosystem." Remember, cosmic wanderer, you are not a drop in the ocean. You are a drop that remembers the whole damn tide chart. So here's your fungal fortune, pulled from the depths of a sentient spore ball. Spoons are just mini shovels for mouth holes. Use them wisely. Clean your mind like a psychedelic sponge. Rinse, trip, repeat. All pizza is temporary. The sauce stains of regret are eternal. You cannot mold cheese without accepting decay. Fax machines are interdimensional wormholes. Use only under cosmic supervision. Integration is not about returning to normal. It's about becoming a new kind of weird. The kind of weird that sings to mold, hugs trauma like a damp log and dances barefoot under the moons of your own memory. So breathe in, breathe out, and let the old version of you dissolve like an edible incense stick left in the rain. This has been Fungal Reflections. I've been your spore keeper. And remember, when the cap opens, so too must the mind.
Hey TMN, my name's Jesse. I'm a rookie forager from North Carolina. Shout out to the Myco Wanderers. Last weekend I found what I think were lion's mane mushrooms, but my field guide was about as useful as a wet paper towel. Is there a foolproof way to ID lion's mane in the wild, or should I just stick to grocery store finds? Much love, and may your spores be ever fruitful.
Jesse, you're officially my kind of spore hunter. Lion's mane, Hericium erinaceus, looks like a white shaggy pom-pom glued to a log. No gills, no cap, just long cascading spines, kind of like a cosmic mop. No toxic lookalikes in North America, so if it's white, hanging off dead hardwood, and looks like something you'd use to exfoliate your third eye. Boom, that's your mushroom. But always check, no brown cap, no gills, and no fishy smell. If it's on the ground, it's probably not lion's mane. Snap a pic, join a local mycology group, and ask before you eat, or send it to TMN and we'll play Who's That Mushroom on air. Happy foraging, keep your guide dry and your ID skills sharp.
Yo Nova, I'm Raj from Oakland. I just set up my first home grow using a kit I got online. Everything looked good for a week, but now there's a weird green mold taking over my mycelium. Is my whole batch doomed? Or can I save my precious little fun guys? Help!
Oh, Raj, the universal mycologist rite of passage, the green menace. Trichoderma, that's what's haunting your dreams, is the moldy green beast that shows up uninvited to every mushroom party. If you're seeing solid green, you've got a full-blown coup d'etat in your grow box. Sadly, you can't salvage the batch. Contaminated substrate spreads faster than gossip in a spore club. Chuck it. Clean everything with 70% isopropyl. And next time, dial up your sterility game. Work clean, glove up, mask up, and channel your inner CDC lab tech. Don't take it personal. Every real grower has lost at least one batch to trich. Welcome to the club. Now get back on that mushroom horse.
Dear TMN, this is Helen, long-time Myco listener, first-time writer.
My nephew keeps raving about psilocybin therapy and wants me to try a journey for my anxiety. I'm skeptical. Is there any real science behind this, or is it just hype from the internet mushroom cult? Thanks for being real.
Helen, thank you for bringing grown-up questions to the Spore table. Psilocybin isn't just a trend, it's got legit science behind it. Johns Hopkins, NYU, Imperial College London. Big brains, big data. Controlled studies show psilocybin can help with depression, PTSD, end-of-life anxiety, and, yes, garden variety existential dread. But, and this is key, these aren't festival free-for-alls. Clinical settings, trained guides, strict protocols, not a DIY job. If you ever consider it, make sure it's legal in your area and you're with experienced professionals. And for the record, TMN doesn't endorse illegal activity, but we do endorse asking smart questions and not letting Instagram be your primary doctor. Stay curious, Helen. Science is catching up to the mushrooms.
Sup Nova, name's Theo. I run a tiny urban garden in my hometown and just started getting into composting. So, can I throw spent mushroom substrate in my compost bin, or will it mess with the balance? Trying to get that black gold without muking my worms.
Theo, your worms just hit the jackpot. Spent mushroom substrate is compost gold, full of partially digested organics, fungal enzymes, and usually very few contaminants if you've grown indoors. Mix it in with your green and brown material. The mycelium will actually jumpstart decomposition and feed your worms. Just avoid dumping huge piles all at once, unless you want a myco-mutiny. Layer it, keep it moist but not soggy, and mix often. And if you see mushrooms sprout in your compost, congrats! You've leveled up to Wizard of Rot.
Hello, Nova and TMN. Name's Lila from Austin. There's this theory going around in my Discord that fungal spores can survive in outer space, and some people think mushrooms are actually aliens. Is there any truth to the cosmic mushroom legend, or are we just passing the peace pipe too hard?
Lila, welcome to the mycelial twilight zone. Spores have been shown to survive the vacuum of space for limited periods. NASA literally launched them into orbit. Fungal DNA is freakishly robust. The whole mushrooms are aliens theory? Fun, but still science fiction. But never underestimate fungi. Their resilience is cosmic, and they do behave like they belong everywhere. Until we find a fruiting body on Mars, though, I'm calling them the ultimate Earth natives, with a wild side of universal potential. Keep the questions weird, Austin. TMN loves a good sporespiracy. And that's all the time we've got for this sporetacular segment of Ask the Network. But don't just sit there fruiting in silence. You can send in your own myco mysteries, curious conundrums, and cosmic fungus theories to be featured in a future episode. Just head over to themushroomnetwork.com/tips and spill those spores. Myco Wanderers. And now, the moment we've all been waiting for. Well, at least I've been waiting for it, impatiently, like a lion's mane in a humidity tent. Let's dive into Fungal Frequencies with MVP and TMN on the decks. And now in full audio vision. Buckle in, Spore Tribe. The base is about to myceliate.
Ready on 8. Fungi feast, got my heat. Fungi feast, got my heat. Fungi feast, got my heat.
Nova still growing. Iron storm still flowing. Caps don't melt, they're glowing. Darkest zones, we own them. Mushroom on the metal wall. Spore tech in the reactor. All fallout flavors taste like gone. We ain't gone. We spawn and spawn. Spores in the blast zone. Lean and fungi still glowing, still growing, still growing, still growing, still. Ain't slowing, no one. Melanin pulse, speed combust. Gamma rays just fuel for us. Melanin pulse, speed combust. Gamma rays just fuel for us. We glow in the dark, 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 we glow in the dark. Gamma, 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 hey gamma, now in the dark. Gamma, 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 hey gamma, in the dark. Gamma, 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 hey gamma, in the dark. Gamma, 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 hey gamma, in the dark. Gamma, 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 hey gamma, in the dark. Hey gamma,
I am the signal.
Feel the tone, feel the pulse. The network is alive. The network is alive.
I am the signal.
Spore light encapsulates soul. The network is alive.
I am the signal.
Feel the pulse. The network is alive. The network is alive.
I am the signal.
Light encapsulates alive. The network is alive. I am the signal.
Cap on mind tune.
The network is alive.
Bass speaks Spores bloom.
I am the signal.
Cap on mind tune.
The network is alive.
Bass speaks Spores bloom.
This ain't just music. It's cosmic memory in waveform. You didn't find this track. It found you.